I would like to begin the lesson with this thought by Martin Luther King. Actually, he is paraphrasing a Bible verse from John chapter 1, verse number 5. Could anyone mind reading it? Martin Luther King said that. Nice, guys. You know that we live in times, and I know that you know this because I know for a fact that you're on YouTube all the time, where we see people's behavior being displayed in different videos. And the type of behavior that we're seeing is, I think that to say it's unbecoming, it's too light. Um, we see people acting towards other people in ways that is totally wrong. We see displays of hatred all over. I don't know what's been going on during the last, I would say, like 4 years, where hatred towards other people has been like on display exponentially. I'm not saying that we started hating people 4 years ago. Okay, hatred has existed since humanity has existed, but the way that we're seeing it displayed and shown is like it's become normal. You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen that? Have you perceived the same thing I have? Most common types of videos that we're seeing out there is those videos that have to do with these so-called Karens. How many of you have seen videos with Karens or Darrens? Because it includes both males and females. Is That's something, that type of behavior where we see people hating on other people for apparently no reason at all. Is that something we're born with, or is that something that we learn? What's your opinion on that? Okay, why? Why do you think that? Okay, all right. How many of you agree with her? Think that you think it's nurture, not nature? Okay. And if they learned it, question is, who did they learn it from? That's the big question, and that's the scary question. If we're not born hating, and like me Valentin said, and you guys corroborated, it's something we learn. Who's teaching you to hate? Does anybody care to give an answer or dare to give an answer? Yeah, but you're saying people that surround you. But who are the people that surround you? Anyone that surrounds you, or their particular type of people that have this level of influence on us, and somehow lay down the groundwork for us to learn hate. Your family and friends. Woo, that's that's pretty heavy a thing to say. Your family and your friends. Is it okay for people to teach you to hate? I mean, sometimes people don't teach us in an overt way, in a direct way. They're not trying to sit down. I'm going to teach you this. Just by modeling certain behaviors and attitudes, people communicate things to young people, to younger ones, to children that they observe, they absorb and learn. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you're going to be reading a story today that deals with hatred. And sometimes we see a lot of hatred inside of families. Families are supposed to uh, love one another. Family members are supposed to reaffirm one another, to nurture one another, to support one another, to have each other's back. But sometimes we see the opposite. And it might be more normal to see people that are not family members hating each other. But when we have family members hating each other, that is that is profoundly sad and disturbing. So, story we have for you today is titled. Let me get it. It's titled "The Interlopers." There you have it, and it deals with the issue of hatred. And another question I would like to ask you guys is, what does it take to get two enemies to overcome their differences? Let's say you have you ever had people that you consider an enemy, or maybe sometimes we don't have people that we call our enemies, but they call us their enemies. Like, dude, I mean, like, what did I do to you? Because hatred seems to be like a very easy thing to articulate, to feel. Have you ever been in a situation when you've seen two enemies overcome their differences, or have you ever been in that situation? Well, it could be a movie. It could be anywhere. It could be in real life. It could have been a movie. What movie? What movie did you have in mind? Which one? Well, let me tell you a story. There was this guy that he switched colleges. He left one college and he went to another one. And there he made some friends. He made friends with this other person, and this group of people accepted him except one person. This one person apparently does not like this guy for whatever reason, because people can find any reason to hate. They don't like the shape of your nose. They don't like the tone of your voice, or whatever. Haters will be haters, right? Uh, and when he was with the group, with this clique, everyone seemed to accept him. They got along fine, except this person. This person was always like giving him like the evil eye and all that. One day, this guy was looking for his other friend, the one that introduced him to the group, and he went into the library, and there was this girl that didn't like him talking with another of the girl that was part of this group. And he asked the girl if he knew where the guy was, where the friend was. And the girl's answer was, "You're supposed to say excuse me." That's the first time she ever spoke to him, even if he smiled and said good morning, and she would not answer back to him in a kind way. The very first thing that came out of her mouth toward this guy that never did anything to her was that nasty. Not. It was more the tone and the attitude than the words. Imagine if someone acted that way towards you. What would you do? How would you react? Would you snap back at that person? Well, the fact of the matter, this guy was going to snap back at her, and the word that came out of his mouth were, "Excuse me, I'm sorry," and he left. And then the guy was scratching his head. Wait a minute, what did I say? I was going to send it to hell or one of those other nice places. Why did I say I'm sorry? Excuse me. What happened after that? Interesting. Was that from that day on, I don't know what those words did to that girl, but from that day on, that girl changed her attitude toward this guy, and she was nice and kind to him from there on. Why? I don't know. That guy was me. That guy was me many years ago. So, what did it took to overcome a difference? And I did not consider this person my enemy. Apparently, she considered me her enemy. I don't know why. Fact of the matter is that what did it take? A kind word. I mean, not that it did not try to be kind to her, but apparently it didn't resonate with her. So sometimes it takes that. What else could it take for two enemies to overcome their differences? Yeah, okay, well, yeah. Sometimes a common thread can also make people overcome their differences, and join. Have you ever heard the term, the phrase, "the enemy of my enemy is my friend"? Have you ever heard that before? Anyone? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So sometimes people that are not friends, when they encounter a common thread, um, they overcome their differences and join forces and become friends. Sometimes out of need, but sometimes circumstances have to throw us in a certain direction for us to realize the error of our ways, like Mr. Quinones said, right? Sometimes we have to be forced into positions where we can see that we were wrong. People normally do not accept that they are wrong. Okay? There's a video here about hatred that is inherited that you need to see. Okay? It's in the PowerPoint. When I talk about inherited hatred, we're talking about hate that is taught and transmitted from one generation to another. Have any of you ever seen that? Like, for example, I know of parents that they hate the neighbors or they are enemies with the neighbors for whatever reason, and they transmit that to their children. I don't want you playing with that with the neighbor's kid. Has that ever happened to you? No. Yes. If it has happened to you, is that all right? Is that okay? Should because Ms. Valentin was saying that the people that are close to us sometimes teach us to hate, which is wrong, and they teach us many other things that are wrong. And sometimes those people are the people that are closest to us. Without them realizing they're transmitting things that should not be. So we have to be careful, right? Uh, what we accept, what we receive, because inadvertently they could be teaching us something that is not right. And hating people is never right. Just because someone in my family hates somebody else doesn't mean that I have to hate them too. I know that they say that blood is thicker than water. However, we have to be smarter than our blood, right? You have to be smarter than that. We have to have more values than that. So there's a video there that I want you guys to see as part of the class. This story deals with a state of enmity between two families. It takes place in Eastern Europe, in the Carpathian Mountains in Eastern Europe, um, and it presents the tale of two men. One is called Ulrich van Gradswitz. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly. And the other one is George Znaim. That's a mouthful. And they hate each other for no other reason that their fathers and their grandfathers hated each other. Over what? Over a little piece of land. Incredible. People hate each other for, sometimes human beings are very territorial. And when they feel their space violated, they react in ways that can be horrific, that can be very ugly. So, and the story begins in a night when they decide they're gonna end this one way or another. These two men are in the forest with their posse, with their men, and they're out for blood in this story. And something's gonna happen that is unexpected that will change the way they think. But we're gonna see that when you read the story. The the literary concept that you will be exploring include the omniscient narrator. You know that the omniscient narrator is this narrational mode where the narrator is outside of the story and seems to know everything that is going on with everyone and everywhere, right? So you're going to be seeing that. You're going to be seeing another concept that we're going to call irony. And irony refers to an outcome of events that is contrary to what you were expecting. Like, for example, something ironic is like I've seen these videos that are very ironic and very funny when somebody puts a famous bucket with water on the door so it can fall on the guy that comes inside. Well, open the door. And instead of that bucket falling on top of the head of the guy who's opening, it falls on top of the head of the guy that put it there. That's something you would not expect, right? That's what irony is all about. It's an outcome that is unexpected, that is contrary from what you thought. And you're going to see irony in the story at the end. It has a very ironic twist, cruelly ironic. So if you like your irony in stories, you're going to find some irony here. You're going to be drawing conclusions in this chart as you read. And this you have to show as part of the assessment. Remember that everything that we show you here, we ask you to do, is part of one assessment, not several, but one assessment. There is some vocabulary words. I need you to find a synonym for each of these words. And you know that a synonym is a word that means the same thing, it has the same meaning. And the words that are part of our vocabulary today include disputed, marauder, exasperation, condolences, and reconciliation, which is a very beautiful word. Reconciliation. You will find the story beginning on page 232 all the way to 240. There's an applying your skills section in page 241 that you need to do. And when I ask you to do that, of course, it's the complete enchilada, not just a section of it, but it's that plus the vocabulary words plus the chart. That is the assessment for today. As always, you're going to turn this into a PDF that you will be uploading to the LMS. Okay. So, guys, I have to leave right now because I have another group waiting for me. So, I hope you'll have a great weekend. You take care of yourselves, and hopefully, I'll be seeing you next week with the grace of God. Okay. So, take care. God bless you all.